naked. That's not the point. There's nothing closer to you than your own body. They were not even aware they were naked, it says. Their focus was on God, not themselves at all. And so they started covering themselves up and trying to hide from God who made it all. And they knew that. So it's just like, that was pointless. Do we ever do that? Did I ever do that? Do we ever try to hide from God? Or do we start to make a decision about something and make a joke about it so we can get away with doing it? Or, act like it's no big deal. It's not a big sin, so that's how we can get away from doing it. And really, or even just flat out get God off of our minds so we can do it. I've done that before when I purchased something large and I knew that it was not something I needed to be purchasing. I was putting myself in great debt. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, and I'd said, okay, well, I'm going to do it, and then I'm just going to pay it off real quick. And I could just feel. And now I know what it was. The Holy Spirit saying, stop ignoring me. Don't do this. And I got in a lot of debt from that. And I lost out on that investment. It was a bad decision. And you'd think it'd teach me. But I've done it more than once. So I warn you. From my own life as an example of what happens when you don't put God first. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Especially when you look back and go, was I just stupid? Why did I do that? And then you do it again. Oh my goodness. We have to pray for each other and ask, most importantly, bow down and be truly sorry and ask God to forgive you and give you the power to do what is right before Him and to give Him all the glory. And quit looking for your own way to be God and your own way to do life. Do His way. His plan. Not plan A. His plan. You can enjoy it anytime. I was telling you about my friend who said that, he wouldn't walk into, he didn't want to be a hypocrite. And I said, if you wait till your deathbed, and you decide then to do it, you'll still, if it's from your heart, God will still save you. But what a waste of life, man. What a waste of life. It's just this little thing. And eternity's, what a waste of life. What you could have done with this life. It's obviously very important. People go, well, you're going to die anyway. No, it's obviously very important. We wouldn't be given it. So, God already knew what had happened. It's interesting in verse 13, 14, God said, what is this that you've done? The woman blamed the serpent because Adam blamed her. And then God strikes the serpent with something that's interesting. First of all, obviously, as an angel, he took the form of some sort of an animal. Reptile is what we think of, snake, but it wasn't a snake because it was upright, because that's when he cursed it to crawl on its belly. So it almost implies a dragon, maybe. Maybe that's where we somehow get the images of dragons somewhere in our psyche. And because it's called a serpent, that might be a kind of, maybe some sort of a dinosaur type thing that was around then but wasn't eating man. Well, it sort of did. Spiritually, it certainly did. But then that's when he cursed it in verse 14. You will crawl on your belly and eat the dust all the days of your life. So it became a snake. And that's where we probably get the image of a snake. This serpent, I don't know if it was some big, 2,000-foot anaconda snake or a little earthworm. I mean, who knows? The point is, it was deceptive and it was manifested and it worked. And so we have to be very careful. This is when he cursed. When we talk about how bad sin is, that we can ask God for forgiveness. When we talk about how bad sin is, you see, the woman will be giving birth to babies, but it's going to be the worst pain ever. Your husband will rule over you, meaning he was the authority here, and he didn't rule very well. So because you fell away, he will now rule over you. But he's not getting out of this, because he was supposed to. You were made for him, and instead, you drew him away from me. So now he's going to rule over you. And because he listened to you instead of me. And for him, what used to be his purpose and a source of joy to cultivate the ground, naming the animals, enjoying the creation, being in charge of it,